Hey, I'm Kent and welcome back to my channel. So I've got another part for my 1991 Yamaha YSR50, and that is a swing arm brace from Team Calamari Racing. Now this is a part that needs to be welded onto the swing arm. It doesn't just bolt on like most of the modifications that I do. And then instead of getting it painted, I was thinking I should probably do a powder coating. And if I'm going to do powder coating, I might as well powder coat the whole frame, which I never did when I started to put this bike together. So to get the swing arm on, I'm going to effectively take apart the entire bike. But in the process, I think the final result's going to be fantastic. So just a closer look at this product, you can see here laying on my floor that everything lines up very flush with the garage floor. And the construction of this is really nice. All of the welds are really clean. And I love how the angle of this brace lines up with the main bar on the frame. Here you can see what I mean by the angle lines up pretty much perfectly. And I'll take you around the bike. You can see where it's going to weld. I think I will have to widen this by, I don't know, maybe 5 millimeters, just because it does look a little tight on the swing arm, but that shouldn't be an issue. And then you'll notice that you're not going to be able to run the chain guard anymore. So I'm going to take off these little tabs here. There's another one here that I'll grind down. You won't really need a chain guard anymore though, because this bar here effectively acts as a chain guard. But I think it's going to look great. It's supposed to add some additional rigidity to the swing arm. I've already done the V2 brace in the front of the bike, so overall making the whole bike a bit stiffer. But also excited to finally get the whole thing powder coated, because if you look closely, there's different little rust spots and other things that I try to touch up as I put the bike together. But at this point, I plan on keeping this bike for a long time, so I might as well do everything right and powder coat the whole frame. So I have the main frame here ready for powder coat, and then all the different parts just sitting around ready to be cleaned. I've got the motor here on my desk. It's absolutely filthy. The head I actually sent off to Josh at JE Vintage to bead blast for me so that it can look nice and clean. And then the side covers I'm going to paint, but definitely some work to do here to make this look nice and good. And then just got this back from my buddy Anthony, who's a welder. Check out how good these welds look with the Team Calamari Racing support brace that I added on. So this is something that needs to be welded. It doesn't bolt up, but you can see that these welds look really nice. And everything lines up really nicely too. So next step is to get all this to powder coat and then start putting the bike back together. Okay, I got the parts back from powder coat. Check out how good this rear swing arm looks with the Team Calamari Racing brace. The swing arm looks great, and then here's the whole frame. I use a shop called Bradford Powder Coating here in San Diego, and they do an amazing job. Also on the rear swing arm, I got away with leaving in the bushings. Sometimes they melt. I cleaned them out really well so that there wasn't any grease to damage the finish as they were in the oven, but that was a big time saver because getting those out are a pain. I also picked up some all balls head bearings so that I can replace the crusty old regular ball bearings that were in the front of the bike. I have most of the frame together and the engine inside. And now I'm just working on the bearings. All right, she's almost back together. I need to pull off both covers, side covers of the engine. I'm going to paint those. And I'm also waiting for the head. I sent it off to be polished. Other than that, it's pretty much ready to go. That rear swing arm looks awesome. So let me just button this up, and this bike should be back together in a couple days. So shout out to Josh at JE Vintage. Look how good the head for my YSR50 came after the cleaning and vapor honing. This was actually in pretty rough shape even after I tried to wash it up myself, but it looks better than new at this point. Also a quick shout out to Super Clean, who's been supplying the cleaning products in my garage for the last several years. Really appreciate the support for the channel, particularly for big jobs like degreasing that engine that was caked in mud and dirt and other things from the last couple of decades. The Super Clean foaming product, after setting for about 20 minutes, then just with a toothbrush really gets it all the way out. So really appreciate their support for the channel. They're doing another giveaway. So if you're interested in winning one of their product packages, just leave me a comment below. Hopefully something about the video, but that also you're interested in winning the giveaway, and I'll randomly select one at the end of the week. All right, about a week later, and I'm almost finished with putting this bike back together. I do have one more install, and that is from Team Calamari Racing, this rear shock, and it's got this good-looking red spring on it. I'm still running the stock spring, so this should be a pretty easy swap. The bottom connector just has a cotter pin, and the top is just a bolt and a nut. So I'm going to get that swapped out, and then this rebuild, I think, is going to be finished. All right, here are the two shocks side by side, the new Team Calamari Racing one on the right. To pull it out and to put in the new one, I just have the back of the bike suspended from my ceiling like I often do so that the back of the bike doesn't collapse, and it makes it nice and easy to get the new one in. So let me throw this in, and then I think this project is done. So just did a quick ride around the neighborhood, and that shock actually feels really good. It seems to be sprung perfectly for my weight. And just looking at this bike now, so happy with how all of it looks. I think from a Instagram and YouTube perspective, this bike probably looks the same. I mean, save for the new swing arm brace that I put on and some of the pieces that I cleaned up. But just for me, knowing that every single part now is perfectly finished, and I touched almost every bolt in restoring this kind of for the second time. But yeah, big thanks to Team Calamari Racing for this rear brace as well as the spring. And if you've watched some of my other videos, and they'll be linked in the description below, I have quite a few other Team Calamari Racing parts on this bike at this point, and still have a few more to go. So anyway, thank you all very much for watching. If this was interesting at all, please give me that thumbs up. Stay tuned for more videos and keep on building.